joined by Josiah from Pondering Politics for this segment. I want to update you on, I'm sorry that we're doing two Kari Lake stories so close together, but I I do want to update you on a little bit of a feud as Josiah walks away between Meghan McCain, daughter of course, late Senator John McCain, and Kari Lake. One of the things that you've noticed if you've kept up with Kari Lake is that she sort of, I guess, as a way of supporting Trump, became really anti-McCain. Of course, McCain being a prominent figure during his time in politics in Arizona politics. And so her running in Arizona, for some reason, she thought it was a smart political decision or a way to back up Trump to go after John McCain after he had passed away. And I'll show you some examples of that in just a moment. Well, now, as we talked about in our previous segment, things aren't looking so good in her campaign, polling-wise, or the financial situation. And so it seems to be that she's panicking a little bit and trying to make peace with what is referred to in Arizona as your McCain Republicans, more moderate, non-MAGA Republicans, who, because they didn't show up for her, are the reason she legitimately, contrary to her claims, lost the gubernatorial race in 2022.
Wait a minute. I've been told that she is, in fact, governor of Arizona. Are you telling me that that's a lie?
Can you imagine?
MAGA
Republican lying about election.
Strange.
Shocking. Well, on that, she publicly is now trying to sort of play that off, everything she said in the past as jokes, and make peace with Meghan McCain, again, daughter of John McCain, and win back over some of those John McCain Republicans. It's brutal, it's cringy, and McCain is not having it. And we'll walk through all of that. First, let me give you the context and show you two examples of what Kari Lake said during her gubernatorial race about John McCain after, again, he had already passed away.
We drove a stake through the heart of the McCain machine. I think we're learning a lot about what McCain was up to. I just saw a video of him from several years back in Ukraine, and he was a very powerful politician. He wielded a ton of power. He ran Arizona with an iron fist. He controlled the entire political scene in Arizona from top to bottom. And they don't want to give up that power. John McCain may be dead, but he is reaching up from the grave trying to keep power in Arizona. And it was never about power that helped the people of Arizona. It was never about that. It was about maintaining his power, incredible power in the entire U.S., world power, and he had complete power over Arizona. And rarely did he do anything good for the people. And the people are aware of that. They are trying. They're on their last gasp.
So, of course, Trump very prominently said that McCain wasn't a hero, or questioned if he was a hero, because how did Trump word it? Trump likes people who weren't captured. And this is one thing that I don't understand with some of these MAGA figures, separate from their own personal immorality or low character. From a political standpoint, why do you pick these fights? The quote-unquote John McCain Republicans weren't causing trouble for Kari Lake, and she just chose to alienate them. Then, as Tim Miller has repeatedly pointed out to Kari Lake's face, that is why she, one of the reasons, lost the election. She was, at different points, it seemed to be the favorite in that election. But that's what she had to say.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, so before getting to the responses on that thing, what is that about?
It's typical Trump fashion. It's the whole MAGA mindset of picking unnecessary fights as a demonstration of strength or intemperance or whatever. Now, I mean, obviously, prior to Donald Trump's victory, Senator McCain was pretty critical of Donald Trump's character, understandably so, right? And then, of course, that grudge deepened further when John McCain tanked Trump's ill-devised, very stupid, irresponsible attempt to repeal Obamacare, the infamous no vote. Kari Lake had no obligation to pick that fight with John McCain, especially because John McCain had been dead at the time. So it just goes to show the complete lack of strategy and reflexive divisiveness of the MAGA movement. But now she's changing her tune, and it's so fascinating.
Because she realizes, even though she's telling her followers the last election was stolen, she realizes she lost fair and square. So if you could pull up this post from Kari Lake. Kari Lake, well, first, actually, Meghan McCain said, Kari Lake's trying to walk back her continued attacks on my dad and family and all of his loyal supporters after telling them to get the hell out. At an event, Kari Lake said, if you're a John McCain Republican, get the hell out. Guess she realized she can't become a senator without us. No peace, B word. We see you for who you are and are repulsed by it. Then, Kari Lake, and Josiah, you have such a beautiful reading voice. Do you want to hit us with the next response from Kari Lake? He'll be the voice of Kari Lake.
Hi, Meghan. As mothers, both with 2 kiddos, we both agree that our children's future is too important to let it slip away over past grudges or hurt feelings. That's why I'm working hard to unite Republicans, independents, Democrats, all Americans. We're facing huge challenges, and it's going to take all hands on deck to pull things back from the brink. My dad passed away from cancer too. I trust and believe if our fathers were still with us, they would do everything they could to save this republic. Our movement to save Arizona and America is growing, and it's mama bears like us who are leading the charge. All moms want the same thing, to leave our children a better America than the one we had. It's as simple as that. I want to make Senator McCain and Larry Lake proud. I value you. I value your family, and I value the passion you have for our state. I'd love nothing more than to buy you a beer, a coffee, or lunch and pick your brain about how we can work together to strengthen our state. My team is sending you my contact info. If you're willing to meet, it would mean a lot to me. Thank you, Meghan. I hope we can connect soon. God bless.
And again, Meghan's not having any of it. We'll get to an interview after that.
Well, I just want to say, Luke, she says in that letter, that's why I'm working hard to unite Republicans, Independents, Democrats, all Americans. If this is her working hard to do that, what would her not working at all?
Tweet.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like what she was saying before. Yeah, and also, okay, there's one thing to say you're trying to unite with McCain Republicans in Arizona specifically. It's another thing to say you're trying to unite all Americans. Really? Really, Kari? Ridiculous. But this is interesting. I said in the previous segment about Kari Lake that it's not working. The act is up. There was some excitement around it at the beginning. That's why Trump won. It's up. People are sick of it. And she gets that. And she does want to be MAGA, but she wants more to get power. And so this is her desperately trying to do so. But it's so disingenuous. And it shows she didn't believe those things about about John McCain reaching up from the grave, all these horrible things. It was just, at the time, what she thought was politically advantageous because it would get her the MAGA celebrity she wanted so badly. Now it's not, so she's flipping around. With that being said, here is Meghan McCain responding during an interview to this same subject.
So would your dad have laughed at that joke from Kari Lake?
I mean, I think we all know the answer to that. And I think it's really kind of fascinating that this whole thing is blowing up as much as it is. It's getting like international attention. Like The Guardian is writing about all of this. And, you know, I think my entire take on this situation is just that the internal polling for Kari Lake's campaign must be just staggeringly awful and scary to them when it comes to independents and McCain Republicans not voting for her. I think there's some kind of data that they've seen. There's public data we've all seen that shows that there is a giant swath of Arizonans who will never vote for this woman, in no small part because of how much she has attacked my dad, who is a beloved Arizona icon. And also there are many people like you, Bruce, who consider themselves proud McCain Republicans, and we wear that proudly. We are not MAGA, dear leader, Kim Jong-un, Trump, people. And I think that her and her team have had a very, very, cataclysmic misunderstanding of the people that we are, the kind of Republicans that we are, and the amount of support that my dad still has, even, 5 years in death.
Let me just say one thing, then we'll throw it to you. I'm talking too much. But just to be clear, the attacks are vile, but it's about more than that. It is about, when we talk about her never being able to win over McCain Republicans, it's because of what she stands for, and that's not what the few moderate Republicans are on board with. They're not for terminating the Constitution like Trump called for, or trying to install himself as president after a Democratic election, whatever. They're not for those things, and that's also at the core of this. Go ahead.
Well, no, so listen, John McCain, I was not a fan of John McCain when he ran against President Obama, right? I thought President Obama was the better candidate by far. And the Republican Party had major issues in the Bush and McCain era. There's no question about it. But one thing I will give John McCain is I do think John McCain was a statesman, right? In the sense that, he got along, even at times when he'd lose his temper, he got along with now for former President Obama during the election. He even defended President Obama from some of the most spurious and kind of repulsive criticisms that were baseless from even his own audience on live television during rallies. So this is a man who I don't think we would have ever had concerns about respecting the outcome of free and fair elections, for example, right? And he formally conceded to then President-elect Obama when he lost, right? So McCain was a statesman. Obviously wildly different views on policy and everything else, but he at least valued the republic, which ironically Kari Lake says that she does, but all of her actions signal to the contrary. She puts party leader above party, above country. And that is the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do.
Well said. Tell them where they can find you, Josiah.
You can find me at youtube.com/@ponderingpolitics. And Luke, man, always a pleasure.